Hey guys, hope all is well. Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Didn't want to not make a video since I did take 2 days off due to the massive storm by me. I'm sure you guys heard me talk about that on Twitter. I want to talk about a quote from Nevin Gupta and tie it in with what we know today. Obviously, I know you guys have heard this back from 2018. Nevin Gupta, well-known Ripple employee, Middle East, Northern Africa regions, absolutely love his famous quotes such as "we are going to make a dent in the universe." And yes, just like Miguel Valles has recently said, they already have, but guys, we are at the very beginning. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, has even obviously just emphasized we are, so far in this marathon. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And right here, remember this quote by Nevin Gupta. Within the next 5 years, and this is from 2018, so let's say 2023 is 5 years from that point. And again, XRP, it can do anything from this point. It doesn't mean that we have to wait 5 or 10 years by any means. I think you guys understand I do not expect that. I expect the speculative and utility ground floors to fluctuate as always, but the bottom line is that this ground floor will be rising. All right, so within the next 5 years, he says Ripple, the company, aims to facilitate a significant portion of the $155 trillion market worth of total cross-border payments every single year. It's difficult to say exactly how much, but I can say that a significant portion of the US $155 trillion market will happen through Ripple's network. That's a bold claim, bold statement from them. We know Ripple, groups like Circle, Coinbase are most likely going to go public in, end of year or next year. Shouldn't be surprised by any means. Obviously, you were seeing Grayscale with their, commercial, their campaigns going on. And for example, for cross-border payments alone, guys, $155 trillion. I think you guys heard me compare numbers all the time. Instead of just talking about business days, let's do 155 trillion divided by 365, because obviously payments are going to be instantaneous, 24/7, 365, the power of your fingertips. Disintermediation, everyone will be able to do it via, near field communication, QR codes, tapping, you name it. $155 trillion divided by, say, 365 is what, approximately $424 billion per day. And that is cross-border payments alone. All right, now keep in mind, why are hundreds of millions of dollars being focused on, initiatives like Spring and game developing for the XRP ledger for the derivatives market? That's roughly valued at $700 trillion today. Anywhere from, 544 to 1.2 quadrillion dollars, give or take. Those numbers, fluctuate as always. So let's just say an average of 700 trillion. Carry on. These are just things that make you wonder. All right. In other news, guys, I know we have tons and tons of developments. I kind of want to tie it together, so pay close attention. Remember, we do have the all-in XRP.com calculator. This was actually built due to, that paper, the Fundamental Valuation Framework for Crypto Assets, talking about estimated daily transaction volume in trillions of dollars. Remember, ACI Worldwide, for example, is Ripple net enabled, $14 trillion per day. We could talk about, Volante with $2 trillion or $3 trillion per day. Obviously, there's different factors. It's fun to speculate, but at the end of the day, guys, as long as you know that what you're holding is undervalued, awesome. I don't care if it's, $5, $10, 3 digits, 4 digits. That is up to you guys to decide. Listen to who you want. I just believe that there is tremendous upside in this market, and trying to speculate on price is really silly. It's just like trying to predict the future, and I don't have a crystal ball. All right. Obviously, we get hints from many people, and you guys can do the math and speculate as you will. All right. So remember, though, what's interesting is with this valuation framework, funny enough, of course, we know Susan Athey and Mr. Robbie Mitchnick built this, price prediction for XRP, this model, talking about, getting portions of the Swift network and talking about XRP's price point. Well, where did Robbie Mitchnick go? He left Ripple to go strategically to BlackRock is lead of blockchain. Again, I reference this all the time. Just pay attention to things like that. Now, I want to talk about Interledger Protocol. I Am Legion shared this cool little thread, just 2 little screenshots, and I want to talk about it, kind of comparing, the value of payments, the friction that exists in this ecosystem, and why DLT, of course, is going to be huge and instrumental in disrupting this. But XRP, in terms of removing friction, not disrupting, but enabling, bridging value. And it's not just going to be XRP as a digital asset that is not going to solve every single problem. It's going to be, a variety, a group of protocols and ledgers, and just something to bridge the traditional market with the modern new markets. So right here, I'm Legion, guys, on Twitter, definite follow. So Ripple likens this to creating an internet of value Again, IOV, as opposed to one of information. The company is not alone in this view. RJ Pittman, former chief product officer at eBay, says e-commerce will necessitate a change. Again, guys, there's going to be many use cases for DLT. Payments is one of the most obvious ones, and I don't think Bitcoin is going to be solving that issue. I wish Bitcoin well. I just think XRP is much better positioned to solve payments. Doesn't take a genius to see that. Again, I wish everybody well. There's going to be, dozens of assets, dozens of blockchains, dozens of networks that succeed. And my bet is that XRP will be a sure one. You guys can watch other projects do 300%, 500% returns, and I wish them well, and they might have tremendous upside in the future. I just am holding XRP in my portfolio as an obvious contender. All right, on an institutional, side. So today, e-commerce is only 9% of the US retail market versus 40% in China. Globally, the average is around 15%, but Pittman expects this to increase relentlessly as companies continue to find ways to remove friction for the customer. Again, disintermediation, guys, less middlemen, 24/7, 365. The existing payments infrastructure won't be able to match it. We're nowhere close to hitting a critical mass in e-commerce. That is a bold statement. He said if 15% is the global average today, what happens when we hit 75%? Do we have the payments infrastructure in place to scale? I don't believe we do whatsoever. I mean, it's taking 2 to 6 days to send payments via Swift with a 6% error rate. Imagine if every single text, email, phone call only worked 6% or, didn't work 6% of the time. That's unbelievable. All right, and do we have the cost models in place? Because it's going to become bitterly competitive. Again, cooperation, competition, co-opetition is the way. Although banks may think their status quo capabilities can grow, and again, these tier 1 banks obviously don't want to give up power, but it's going to happen. Leveling the playing field is coming, and we'll see who kind of retains power. I think it's about transparency and control as well. There's pros and cons. You guys know me. Whether you like me or hate me, I am here just to simply try to make money. So Pittman argues the opposite. There are many inefficiencies in the payments processing chain. He said even a credit card settlement in the US is antiquated and costly. Remember, even the folks in the UAE, guys, are paying roughly 13% in fees, remittance fees. I'm going to do a future video kind of emphasizing some points on that as well. And I know you guys are well aware of it, but I want to repeat this for newcomers as well, just to kind of keep the whole space informed, because I think that there's going to be, say 0.6% or 1% of the entire population is in crypto assets. Just like that comparison with 15% to 75% with the, tipping point, what's going to happen when 25% come into this? Exactly. All right, and that's not what I'm relying on. I'm relying on true utility. You can speculate on retailers, but I think that true adoption of this technology on an institutional basis is what's going to be huge. And don't underestimate the role that we can all play in this. The power of network effects is massive. The power of, the law of connectivity is massive, guys. So, moving money, moving value. So the death of banks and credit card companies. Quite the opposite, Pittman said. They should shed the legacies and open the aperture to extraordinary growth opportunities. Again, guys, open landscapes. What is this? Interoperability across the board. There's going to be many domestic use cases, intranet, types of cryptocurrencies, JP Morgan coin or S coin, and I wish them all well. Not every single one is an Ethereum killer or, an XRP killer. That's a very, myopic way to look at things, guys. We want everything to go digital. There's not going to be one coin that does everything. That is very silly to think. It's not going to be a one world currency per se. There's going to be protocols to allow interoperability between ledgers, between, tokens of value, anything. So he likens Ripple's technology to the creation of TCP/IP protocols, which broke up messages on the internet, just like an email, into batches and recreated them. That information could be processed efficiently. DLT can have a similar impact when applied to payments. Exactly. Just like the streaming of micropayments, again, Interledger Protocol version 4. And allowing that, think of, the folks over at Coil. Again, if you guys want to create an account, feel free to do so. Support the ecosystem and just kind of explore and understand how you can actually be getting paid, or content creators. Remember those, what were they? Bloggers getting paid? Streaming of payments directly, guys. Disintermediation. All right, this is going to level the playing field for everybody. So TCP/IP, by moving packets of information, made the web work. Ripple's ILP, Interledger Protocol, is TCP/IP for moving value. Again, it's agnostic. He said, obviating the need for many central services and payments today. Now, who was it? Was it the gentleman? I believe it was Brian Brooks over at OCC. He said, same with Craig Phillips, of course, Ripple advisor, formerly at BlackRock, all these huge people that are, well connected, whether it's Goldman Sachs or BlackRock, you name it. It's quite obvious to me. And again, I'm also investing in the people as well as the technology. and I think that's just common sense. But they said that they're going to be supporting the objectives, the networks, the tokens, the overall DLT that is built on a level playing field, that is completely agnostic and built for interoperability. It's not about tribalism, guys. All right. And I know, the XRP community or any community can get pretty intensive or intense. And I completely get that, guys. There's nothing wrong with, being patriotic or, loving your project. Just don't get myopic. There's going to be many, many things that are, successful, survive, and then even others that may disappear entirely. It makes me think of Crypto Eddie, and she even says, don't be a frog in the well, okay? Because you could be missing out on other opportunity as well. And guys, I am bullish as ever on XRP. That is just my personal opinion. If you see other things or think the market's going to dump, that is fine. I respect it. But time will tell, and it doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter, and the cool thing is, neither does yours, all right? So let's keep going here. So again, Navin Gupta, remember that quote, and that is per year for the cross-border payments market alone, okay? Remember Swift, guys. Swift alone is $5 trillion per day. Per day. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, again, valuation framework if you guys want to look into that. Now, check this out. So I am Legion just sharing this link, and I kind of want to go through a few things. What I found interesting is, of course, we know Interledger Protocol is kind of the goal, and we don't know how far developed it is, but we are speculating that it is thanks to adoption with, Microsoft and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and initiatives like Mojaloop. It is really interesting, and obviously, it has a great chance for success. But ILP would become a global payment system. So we understand, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, one of the, architects of the XRP ledger as well. And he says this: by connecting bank ledgers and existing infrastructure investments via ILP, banks are taking the first steps in improving global payments today and in enabling a true internet of value. Now, this is what's interesting. So remember, XRP and ILP are the secret sauce for XRP success in usage, utility, price, appreciation. You guys get it. So right here, talking about, carrying out cross-border remittance, he pointed out that Ripple's products would lay the foundation for the next 5 decades in the world of finance. That is an extremely bold statement, guys. 50 years ahead of time, that's big. Now, I guarantee I'm going to see some silly comments saying, oh no, it's going to take 50 years to moon. Absolutely not. That is, ridiculous. Look at 2020. Look at the friction in payments. Look at the growth trends and, the CAGR for even e-commerce, which is huge. Do you really think that this whole global infrastructure can afford to wait that long? Absolutely not, right? Whether you believe it's going to be slow and steady or, overnight, I don't care. Just know that it's going to be happening sooner than later. All right. So again, just going on this website that I Am Legion was sharing, we can see, just talking about ILP again, a big step towards Ripple XRP adoption, thanks to what Interledger Protocol represents: efficiency, speed, interoperability, a bridge between crypto and fiat made possible by ILP. ILP is indeed the missing link that will speed up adoption and cement Ripple's innovation solutions. Just like David Schwartz has said, just like everybody has said, they're not only trying to get widespread adoption for XRP and crypto assets and DLT, they're also building the technology that's going to bridge these markets as well. So it's just like trying to build the internet while simultaneously trying to build applications like Twitter. There's a lot going on, right? Hopefully they do not spread themselves too thin, and that goes for any groups, any initiatives out there. Okay, talking about the ILP connector. Remember, Bitstamp was, one of the first gateways. Not that that's necessarily relevant now. I kind of want to speed through this because there are some really important points I want to make, guys. So hopefully you don't get bored with this. Again, Warren Paul Anderson, product at Ripple. Spring, you name it. I believe I pulled up his. Let me see here. I thought I pulled up something of his. Yeah, right here. Again, all kinds of things, guys. He's working on some great things as well. Let me see. Let's talk about XRP. Again, everything that Spring's working on, Interledger, even Kava Labs, guys, right here. Kava Labs did swaps, or swap BTC and Ethereum using XRP. And again, he's an expert in Interledger Protocol. Kava, guys, their token, what did it go up? It was, like 80 cents or 40 cents at its all-time low or something like that. And then it was nearly $5 recently. Those are massive returns. Okay, and we're just getting started. Keep an eye on projects like Kava, Atom, again, Cosmos platform. Things like that with ILP in tandem with Ripple the company, because Ripple created Interledger. So just something to keep in mind. Again, not financial advice. You guys do your own research, decide for yourselves. Okay, so just talking about this, we have, let's see, Vanessa Pastrito, director at Spring, talking about obviously the adoption of Interledger Protocol, interoperability with traditional systems, and critical mass adoption. There's a lot of variables at play here. And then again, David Schwartz referencing that. And then even Evan Schwartz, co-inventor of Interledger, just talking about, Interledger Protocol version 4, hopefully being the last version for a while. We're bringing the ILP connector up to production quality and starting to use it for micropayments over cryptocurrencies. The plugins for XRP, Ethereum, and ERC20 tokens should be good to use within 1 to 2 weeks. And this is an old article, just wanted to show you that. Okay, now I want to show you, let me see where I'm at. My mind is everywhere. I want to show you this quick clip before we keep talking about ILP for those that care. And again, I'm sure you have already seen this. If you have, just fast forward 1 minute. Again, this is Brian Brooks of the OCC. And he, straight up just mentions, Ripple, Chris Larson, and kind of taking over the Swift network and the issues that we have today in the current ecosystem. And remember, guys, this is happening sooner than later, in my opinion. I think it's quite evident. If you want to disagree, that is completely fine. People disagree, just like with many companies and Amazon as well, in sending packages. And this is going to happen time and time again. We're going, the narrative is that we're going more cashless. I don't know if we're 100% by any means, but guys, it's all right in front of you. Remember, common sense isn't so common. I mean, it's happening. You can talk about partnerships with the Ripple, with SAMA, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. You can talk about, hundreds of companies in China now hiring staff for blockchain jobs. The race is on between the US and China. These narratives just keep continuing. All the developments with, Tencent and Alibaba, all these groups. So pay close attention and listen to this. Again, this is shared by boy_XRP. Definite follow. Thank you for sharing this because I've never seen this before. So listen up.
Maybe a pathway in the US. Globally, what are the bodies that are most central to sort of figuring out how we make this work across the world?
Well, I think there are a number of them. I mean, some of them are regulators, but some of them aren't. Some of them are sort of, payments consortiums and other things like that. So, I would start with...
And, payment consortiums, I would also think R3 as well. So just like Digital Asset Investor always whispers PolySign, I might just start whispering R3.
You mentioned Chris Larson earlier. I start with the Swift network. So Chris's whole business is basically designed to disrupt Swift because Swift is slow, it makes a lot of errors, a lot of chargebacks come across Swift. But that's an embedded interest that has to either adopt this or die at some level. And so I think that's really important. In the US, you think about Visa and MasterCard, which are the main electronic payment rails for the last 40 years. But they're pretty clunky. Chargebacks are high, fees are insane. Paying 6% interchange fee to take American Express, that's a big deal. Paying 3% to accept MasterCard and Visa, that's a big deal. Crypto tokens can do that for 20 basis points. So imagine if you could achieve
cold hard math, guys. What's it going to come down to?
Achieve a 95% cost reduction by using a better technology. But they're deeply embedded stakeholder interests that get disrupted by that.
Such as the tier 1 banks. So they can fight for as long as possible, but at the end of the day, guys, we know what's going to be victorious.
So they have to be brought along in some way in order to figure that out.
And keep in mind, guys, so Brian Brooks, directly mentioning Ripple, obviously knows of the digital asset XRP, was formerly the chief legal officer of Coinbase. For all the silly things I see on Twitter, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating this a lot, guys, but I just scroll through Twitter and I decide never to argue or even engage because it's not worth my time typing a few sentences and getting in a huge thread of arguments. Guys, XRP is not going to be classified as a security. Coinbase has vetted projects. They don't want to do that for their investors. I mean, that alone should kind of, speak volumes for you. But again, guys, just decide for yourselves. You can have a different opinion. Okay, so again, we know what that means. So ILP connector, I want to speed through this again. Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. So again, guys, ILP, the core of the Interledger Protocol suite. Colloquially, the whole Interledger stack is actually just sometimes referred to as ILP. However, the Interledger Protocol is actually just one layer of the stack. So, I mean, if you guys want to read this, this is all on interledger.org. I do this often just to kind of refresh because it's, extremely tech, intensive. Obviously, some of you guys are, very tech savvy already, so good for you. And right here, so protocol layers, as we can see, guys, Interledger Protocol version 4 is right here, and we can see the Interledger Protocol suite is divided into layers of protocols with different responsibilities. Lower level protocols provide basic functionality that higher level protocols depend on to provide more complex functionality. Now remember, let me just pull it up really quick actually. So Notcha, Alliance, let's see, probably Ripple. I think it was like 2014, 2015. Like right here, guys, the payment stack. Remember? Ripple at the bottom. Again, agnostic, level playing field. These are the protocols that are going to be underlying, invisible. Nobody cares how a credit card works. Very few people, fully understand how a cell phone works. It's the same thing with payments. If it does the job, people are going to adopt it, period. Okay? All right. So again, talking about the stack, Warren Paul Anderson, excuse me. I think I was saying Davidson. All right. And then just to finish things off, guys, before I keep ranting. So Matthew L.I.N.Y. just sharing this. So again, crypto finance firm partners with Circle. Again, a huge, institution, another platform that I fully expect to kind of go public like Coinbase and Ripple to meet institutional demand. Well, why is this relevant? Well, we also notice that this is actually shared by the BCB group, and they're going to tap into Circle's platform functionality to improve speed, efficiency, cost of client payments. Notice payments is one of the biggest issues today, and that's where we're going to see, most of this, at least for the next 5 years, in my opinion, before some other use cases, just, such as like data, logistics. Those are very, very important, and we're going to kind of see all of them kind of as a trio get, improved. So right here, again, BCB, remember their, connections recently with Corda as well, should be no surprise. Jeremy Allaire, think of, the USDC, think of projects like Algorand, guys, and their token Algo. Do not sleep on these projects. Very, very big things ahead. Just kind of wanted to talk about that. Again, partnership with BCB's clients can use USDC. So again, this US dollar coin, this type of digital dollar is very interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye on, what the folks over at the Digital Dollar Project are doing. What was the gentleman's name? It wasn't David Treat. I think it was another gentleman in a video clip I was watching. But he was saying that, they're kind of ready to get the tokens going. Oh, and before I forget, guys, remember BCB Group launches instant settlement service Blink. I know many of you like the name for many reasons. Again, BCB, Liquidity Interchange Network Consortium. Again, talking about Swift, SEPA, transfers between them using, Blink, and also they're integrated with DASL, or, DASL. It's Digital Asset Shared Ledger. Remember, Richard Crook, developed by Lab 577. I know many people have covered this, and keep in mind what I referenced earlier, built on Corda R3. Okay, so again, trade finance, the big boys. I'm not saying it's directly using XRP by any means. I'm just showing you digitization, updates, interoperability across the board, and I think that should speak for itself. And for if you guys want to be conservative, awesome. Let's just focus on the remittance, the highly illiquid corridors that we can solve now, like the Philippine peso, the Mexican peso. And the funny thing is, we are solving them now. It's, well over $1 billion in volume per year now over XRP. What is it? Closer to 5 billion, if not more at this point. And remember, and I'll probably talk about this in future videos because it's always exciting. What is, liquidity? Well, it's that catch-all term. Keep in mind, as XRP's price, appreciates, increases, the liquidity also improves because it can send higher value. And that is kind of also another term, a catch-all phrase that we can use for flywheel, because it's another use case that increases demand exponentially. Period. So keep that in mind. The higher the price goes, whether it's speculatively from us or, algorithms and bull runs, or actually traders and buyers or institutional usage, the price goes up, allowing institutions to use it even more in their flows for at least cost savings. So we want tons in buyers and sellers on each side. Okay. Within the order books, we want depth of liquidity, tons of buyers and sellers at a variety of price points and a high amount of them as well. That is what we mean by liquidity, guys. Obviously, XRP is already significantly cheaper. We've already talked about, even Brian Brooks referencing 20 basis points, 95% reduction, disrupting Swift, enabling Swift, however you want to see it, however you want to cut it. This is happening with or without us, and I'm just happy to be on board, and I'm lucky enough to be paying attention to this rather than, being distracted by, a plethora of many other things, within this ecosystem. All right. So we'll see what happens. We have, 4 more months of 2020. Been absolutely crazy. Hope everybody's staying safe. And again, even though Bitcoin is pulled back, sharp, I still expect, by end of month or whatever, to see some big price moves in the upward direction for cryptocurrency as a whole. I'm very excited and just trying to take advantage of these moves via trading. So with that, guys, I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.